Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning, cadets. Today we are going to take up the chapter quality, that is lesson number 5. The chapter is about that quality is more important than quantity. We can see the famous quote by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs says that in life, quality is more important. One home run is much better than two doubles. So in the cricket field, fours and sixes is better than two double runs. That is what the message conveys. We have another definition by Juran, who defines quality as fitness for use in terms of design, availability, safety, field use. His approach is customer top down based technical methods. So you should never compromise with quality. Your attention should not be the number or the quantity, it should be quality. In this chapter, the title is very suitable because the central character of the chapter, Mr. Gessler, believes in quality. He is a boot maker and he believes that if you make boots, it should be of a good class and high quality. He does not believe in quantity. That is what the chapter is all about. So we have a PPT on the chapter Quality by John Galsworthy. Talking about the author, John Galsworthy was a English novelist playwright. His important works or notable works are Forsyte Saga and its sequels, Modern Comedy, and The End of the Chapter. He also won the Nobel Prize in 1932. So he is a very well-known writer of English literature. Through his writings, Galsworthy campaigned for a variety of causes, including prison reform, women's right, animal welfare, and also censorship. Galsworthy was a supporter of British involvement in First World War. In an article for the Daily News on 31st August 1914, so in 1914, all of you must have read in history, First World War began. So he was the supporter of British government in First World War, and Galsworthy called for war on Germany to protect Belgium. So this is about the author, a great novelist, playwright, and the winner of Nobel Prize in 1932. So some words are there: essence, distinction, mysterious, blinking, incense, murmur, creak, contempt, endeavoring, genuinely, splendidly, brooder, starvation. So, brooder, because our main character is an uneducated person, he speaks wrong English. So, brooder, his brother, he doesn't know the actual pronunciation and spellings because he's a boot maker. And the author did not use correct English because he wants originality. So before starting the lesson, we have a very beautiful question before us. Can a shoemaker be called an artist? Yes, definitely a shoemaker can be called an artist if he puts his heart and soul in making the boots. Definitely that person can be called as a artist. He has the same skill and pride in his trade as any other artist and the same respect for it too. So, Mr. Gessler, a German shoemaker, he was settled in London. He was a perfect artist, that is, a perfect boot maker. He did not make many boots in a year. He did not have any false competition with anybody. He was making good quality and high quality boots. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boots. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in fashionable part of London. So we can see that first person has been used. The narrator is I, and you can see how the shop has been shown, Gessler Brothers. So the narrator is saying that when this Gessler was a young man, since then he has known him because he used to make his father's boots, and Mr. Gessler lived with his elder brother, and he had his shop in the fashionable part of London. The shop had a quite certain distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Gessler Brothers. So, as the name of the chapter suggests, that is quality, Mr. Gessler did not believe in advertisements. He did not create a lot of showcase items or display many things. It was a very simple shop, but genuine and high quality boots were available. There was no too much showing off and trying to attract the customers with a lot of advertisement and all. He was not doing any of these things. Just the name Gessler Brothers on the shop. That was the distinction or a different thing in that shop. And in the windows a few pairs of boots. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then and still seems to me mysterious and wonderful. Nowadays, you people also accompany your parents and go to different shops, and you must have understood it is all a world of advertisements and displays, and to catch the attention of the customers, lot of propaganda or brochures, means lot of things go in. But in Mr. Gessler's shop, one or two items will be displayed. He will not display too many items. The customer comes, he orders what he wants, and Mr. Gessler would make it. One thing is guarantee, that the boot will last long and it will never fail to fit. And the narrator in the last line is saying it is a secret how he makes such beautiful shoe. People will get bored of wearing that shoe, but it will never tear or no damage will take place. So, how is he making such wonderful shoes? That was a mystery or a secret to our narrator. He always thinks about it. I remember well my shy remarks one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot. Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Gessler? And his answer, given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, it is an art. So one day the narrator went to Gessler's shop, and you must have also gone to buy shoe, chappal, slipper. So you must have seen that there will be a stand and they will take the measurement of your feet. Like that, the narrator also was stretching his youthful foot and talking to Mr. Gessler. How you are doing? Isn't it hard? You don't display, you don't advertise, you just make beautiful and long lasting shoes. Isn't it hard? So, as I already told you, the author has maintained originality. A sabji wala, a boot wala, what you call a sweeper, they all enjoy their profession, but they don't speak good English. All professions are respectable, but according to the profession, definitely our language also differs. So the last line, it is an art. So the spelling and all, it is just to maintain the originality, because usually these type of people, they will speak in this way. They may be best in their profession, but English is not their cup of tea. English is not everybody's cup of tea, because you have to go to a good school and you have to practice English. So that is just to maintain the originality. It is an art. The spellings are wrong, but it means this. It was not possible to go to him very often. His boots lasted terribly, having something beyond the temporary, some essence of boot stitched into them. So, this is the main part or main lines of the chapter. Usually, what happens? People will make beautiful, fancy chappals, boots, slippers, and they will last for 6 months because they want the customers to buy new ones. But this was not the case of Mr. Gessler. You cannot go to Mr. Gessler every time because he will make so long lasting boots that it will last forever. There is nothing called temporary. He will not make something temporary, fanciful, and attractive. So the author is saying he is putting his heart and soul into every boot he stitches. So some essence of boot stitched into them. That is how the chapter's name is Quality in Life. Quality is important, not quantity. One went in not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church, sitting on the single wooden chair, waited. So Mr. Gessler's shop was like a church. Church is a place where Christians pray, and definitely a place where people pray is a holy place, a very sacred and pure place. So Mr. Gessler's shop, shoe shop it was, but it was like a church. There was no hurry, there was no advertising, there was no showing off. You have to wait for your turn, and there is a lot of patience Mr. Gessler has because he wants to make the best boots. A guttural sound and the tip tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little bent in leather apron, with his sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dream of boots. So now Mr. Gessler has been described. The moment he finds that one customer has come, then you can see he has little bent. That means he has grown old. So his body has bent and there is no coat. He is wearing an apron. Apron you must be knowing. Waiters wear in the hotel so that the dress does not get, or your mother while cooking must be wearing an apron. So it is just to protect the that so that the dirt and other things don't multiply on your clothes. So he would come and his eyes seems to be lost. He's always thinking of making high quality boots. And somebody would ask him, how do you do, Mr. Gessler? Could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots? Without a word, he would leave me retiring whence he came or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense.
Sangangouda off.
So, when the narrator is asking him, would you make a pair of Russian leather boots? Mr. Gessler would leave the narrator on the chair and then he would go inside to bring some good leather to show him. By that time, the narrator would try to see his shop, which has no display, nothing. It's all on order he will make. He will not have any extra boots displayed there. I would like to do this much only for this class. I would like one of the cadet to summarize what all was done in the class today.
Quality is more important than the quantity. I knew him from
Okay, ma'am. To become a master at any skill, it takes the lot total effort of your heart, mind, and soul working together in unison.
quality is a small story. There is a Glesser Brothers shop, ma'am. There is a guy who is selling boots. Selling boots. Selling boots, ma'am.
So you should say
Man,
man, not
he,
guy, not guy, man.
man, he depend on quality, ma'am. He depend on quality, ma'am, but don't on quantity, ma'am. There is one person.
There is one person named Mr. Gessler lived in London. He depends on quality. He makes best shoes in the world, and he gives the guarantee that the shoe will never fart because shoes will never get torn. But everybody gives the shoes that torn that they can earn the money to buy to sell other shoes. But the Mr. Gessler